Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And we have another amazing guest this morning, Mr. J, who is a corporate trainer. And he is sticking to the program, baby. Sticking to the program. Jay, welcome to the show. How you doing,
Hey,
man?
I'm doing well, Dave. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Man. Oh, man, it's a pleasure. Where are you coming in from?
I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. So nice and cool weather here today.
Nice, man. Nice. And a fellow Floridian.
Yeah.
So what led you to legendary, man? What were you looking for?
Well, I wasn't looking for legendary. I think legendary kind of just fell in my lap. Um, just like most people, I was just kind of going around social media, and I'm not a big, Facebook or TikTok or any of that. Actually, my Facebook account is something that my wife created for me because I don't really use it, right? But I don't know, it's just one of those days. I was just flipping through TikTok videos, and I stumbled on, of course, this dude that just says, you know what, you can uh, you can learn to earn, kind of something like that, right? And it was something that caught my mind and says, wow, I can learn something without any product, without any uh, uh, really all the things that you would need in a traditional business. Everything done
Yeah.
online, and make income, or make a career out of it. Kind of, a little curiosity popped in. Didn't pay it no mind, just kept on going. A couple of days later, same thing. And now there's a couple more individuals coming up here and there, like, yeah, and they're talking about how they became successful in 30 days, right? Or 90 days, make five-figure incomes in 90 days or 6 months, and all these claims. And I'm like, this probably can't be right, you know. And I've been a skeptic all my life. I'm originally from New York City, so I think just growing up in New York City, you automatically have this person like in the back of your mind, is like,
Absolutely.
right, like I don't know, pump the brakes a little bit. Um, so I always have that person in the back. Is like, I don't know, let's do some research. I know they're talking about affiliate marketing. They're talking about this. So I did my research. I looked at Google, and probably what most people find when you just Google affiliate marketing, you have all these hundreds of different articles about affiliate marketing, and what it's all about. And I learned about, yeah, wow, there's thousands of products out there, or companies that have programs that allow you to kind of promote their product and get a commission if you drive sales or something like that. I'm like, that is absolutely mind blowing to me, right? So I grew up in a corporate world. I grew up in that 9 to 5 business office kind of setting, pushing pencils, so to speak, and that never really even entered my mind as a an opportunity to create income. So I was fascinated right away. And there's always also that entrepreneurial spirit in me. In the past, I've had side ventures all throughout my life. In the past, I had an eBay store for about 2.5 years,
Mm.
right? Then when Amazon started getting big, it was like I looked into Amazon FBA. I did book arbitrage for a little bit. All these little things. But
With
one thing that
Luke.
yeah, one thing that always kept me kind of moving, kind of taking the bigger step, is each one of them has a product that, whether it's
Yeah.
inventory or something of that nature. It just, I hated the fact that I had inventory that I had to take care of. My eBay
Yeah.
store, I remember my garage, 3/4 of my garage was full of my product that I was going to sell. So my cars were outside, and I lived in New York, so it was, so it was snow, whatever. I was like, no, my product, I have to sell my product. Um, that didn't kind of work out. I hated the fact
I
that I
love it.
had inventory. Um,
Yeah.
Amazon FBA, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing. But you know what? All the costs associated with getting your product and ship, all these things added up, and so by the end of the day, your profit margins are just eaten away, right? So I couldn't find the right balance. And then when I heard about affiliate marketing and where, man, I can actually earn something by not having an actual product, and that was it.
Yeah.
So, and I think, I don't know, a few days later, and that was in my mind. I was like, man, this thing, as far as a business model, this thing is gold, right? This is
Yeah.
gold. So a few days later, I stumbled on another one, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna click on the link. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And when I did it,
You're almost waiting for it, right?
yeah, exactly right. I probably kept on doing it, like, until I find it. And then that one person, I believe it was Bob Hosick. It was. I see him, and I see this older gentleman, or I should say, mature gentleman, right? Just pointing and different things and things popping up, and I'm like, crap, that sounds pretty cool. So I clicked on his link, and it's like $7. I can do that, so I did it, and that was it. That's how I started, and I found you, Dave. That's exactly it. Um,
Mm,
and that
amazing.
was July of last year. Yeah, late July.
Wow.
It's like mid July of last year. Yeah.
Wow, wow. And so you've done quite a bit right here inside of our community. You were actually also, I mean, obviously jumped into the blueprints, but you were even at the mastermind
Absolutely.
here recently last year. So what was that experience like for you?
Oh my gosh. I mean, so I think so I started, kind of taking a step back, right? So I started in July, did the blueprints, and just the blueprints alone blew my mind. There was just a lot of information going going on that. I remember that. There's just tons of information that I was still trying to wrap my head around. Right, there was so much things, and then the mastermind came in December. And living in Jacksonville, it was just a quick drive to Orlando, and my God, it was just mind blowing. Just the nuggets of wisdom that's not necessarily talked about in the blueprint, right? It just comes together, and the speakers that you have, the individuals. I think it's just um, it's hard to describe, but I came out of there almost a new man. I was like,
Mm,
holy crap! There's just so much more that I can do, right? And it's different. I think insights, really personal insights that you get. And Alex Ford was one of them. I had an opportunity to kind of just sit with Alex and just talk about his journey, and it blew me away. Amy was phenomenal. All of
yeah.
them was just nuggets of wisdom of their struggles, their journey. And I was able to kind of take that, internalize it, and say, how does that work for me? Right.
Yeah.
I know that every single individual, they have their own journey. I have my own journey. And it's not a sprint, it's a marathon for me. I'm here for the long term, and I just see the potential of what this can be, right? This business can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just for anyone thinking of going to a mastermind, don't even think about it. I mean, it is absolutely worth it. you know
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Were you surprised by, and not to toot our own horn here, obviously I am. Were you surprised by how intimate and how awesome the place was that we hosted the event? Like, it wasn't, you know what I mean? It was in this big, massive 20,000 square foot mansion that helped us all dream a little bit
Yeah.
and helps us all think a little bit bigger. At least that's kind of one of my intentions of hosting them there. What was the environment like? You talked a little bit about the right information coming from the right people.
Right.
Say a little bit more about the environment and how that affected you at the mastermind itself, doing it there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just it just puts everything together, right? I mean, as soon as you walk through the door, there's that wow moment already of,
Yeah.
wow, you look at this house that you're in, and it does allow you to dream a little bit about, man, I could live here, right? I could live here.
Absolutely.
I mean,
If I
just the
wanted
first,
to, if I wanted to pay for the cleaning bill and actually clean all
yeah.
15
Oh,
rooms, right?
oh, forget that. Yeah, I mean, just the first floor. I mean, you go down
You only
to
live on the first floor, you know?
you go downstairs where the game room and the bowling alley and
Bowling
all that
alley
stuff, and then you're like,
in the
man,
remember the golfing?
yeah,
It's got a
oh,
full golfing. These mastermind mansions. Tim
the
Hewitt said,
simulation, yeah,
"What's up, Tim?" He said, "Mansion is a mindset change for sure," and it is. It's going to different places that you've never been before, eating at different restaurants that you've never
right.
eaten at before, going and experiencing things that you haven't experienced before. A lot of us look at those even on our own time like that's a cost, that's a cost, that's a cost. For me, that's an investment. If I'm going to
Absolutely.
spring to do something, I'm investing in myself because what I'm doing is I'm planting a little seed that I could eat here every night if I figured out the right information, right?
Right.
I don't have to work harder. I don't have to do anything more. But if I figure out the right information, I'm eating here at Ruth Chris tonight. I really can't afford it. But what it's done for me by coming here is it's let me know there are humans, there are people right here in my city who are probably eating here on a regular basis. People probably know people here on a first name basis. And for me, this is like going to Disney World. So the same thing coming to the mastermind, the same thing investing in the blueprints. It's probably something that you all don't do very often, even going through the challenge.
Mhm.
It's just about investing in yourself and giving yourself the knowledge and the experiences to open up your mind to what's possible. Because until we eat at a restaurant like that, until we drive a G Wagon or a Rolls Royce, and I'm not saying materialistic things are everything. I'm just saying until you've experienced something, it's hard to really know what is this all going to get me,
Mhm.
right? And also what I'm missing out on, right? It's like you go to that mansion and it's like, wow. And then you start looking around your own city and realize, damn, there's about 500 of these mansions right here in my city. What are people doing? There's a lot of money out there to be made. And there is all you got to do is go on Zillow in your local town and look at all the homes that people have purchased or are worth more than $1 million. And somebody's going to live in those homes, right? Or a couple of million or a few million. That's all boils down to what people know, not even what they do,
Right.
right? It is, of course, what they do with the information, but it's simply about they know something different than you know.
Yep.
They know a different way of getting money, and that's all it is. It's just a different way of getting money that's legal, moral, and ethical, but brings in a lot more for the amount of time and effort that you're spending. Because isn't it fair to say there's construction workers, nurses, people out there on the front lines of hard work getting paid very little for the amount of effort they're putting in?
Absolutely.
While
Abs-
there's people sitting on Wall Street or the internet coffee shops who are posting a couple of videos, spending an hour or two a day, and who are making hundreds of thousands per month. So it's just about the right information from the right people and then getting it in the right environment. Um, what was it like for you to go through the education there at home alone on your own and stay focused and follow through?
Ooh. And it was a lot, right? And it was a lot. There's a lot of information, and I guess being in the corporate training field, I have this life longing of learning. I always liked learning stuff, whether that's consuming it through the traditional classroom trading way or classroom way, or virtually. And virtually, I like it because it's my pace, my time. The only thing is really having that drive to want to learn. right? To actually opening up my computer, going to that, and then actually digesting that information. At home, there's a lot of distraction. So what I do is I lock myself up in my office, right? I still have
Mm.
a day job, which is I'd love to say it's not as stressful, which is great, right? So it gives me an opportunity to really schedule my time effectively. And being that my daughter's in school, I'm kind of, I take those opportunities where she's not home, kind of get a little quiet time, and lock myself up in the office for an hour, 2 hours, or whatever I can, even
Yep.
when she comes home, because that's my drive, that's my why of doing this. My why is my daughter, right? I want to spend more time with my family. I want to give her more options. I want to be able to provide a different life than what I imagine. And so when she goes to bed, I spend that extra hour and a half at night, and just consume and learn. um,
Yep.
and even now, I'm still learning. I haven't figured it out.
Sure.
I'm
Sure.
still trying to figure it out. Still trying to wrap my
Of
head.
course.
I think I have a much better understanding now than it was a few months ago, right? But
Yeah.
I'm constantly learning. Every day is I just push myself every day, that I learn something new every day, and I hopefully I can incorporate something new in my business every day. And um,
Yeah.
Drew is a great resource, and he kind of puts a lot of things in perspective about growing 1% every day, right? Just and it's a business that you're growing, so managing that expectation that it's
Yeah.
not a quick hit, it's not a quick thing. You're building a business, and that really stuck to me. So um, as far as the
Yeah.
content, it's a lot, and it's there forever, which is great, right? You can always go back to it. Um,
Yep.
but it's gold. It's absolute gold.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like that you are already primed to be a learner. For those of you who are not primed already to be lifetime learners, or who are not, I mean, look, there are a lot of people who know, who operate in life and who are very functional and live good lives and know lots of things, but do not have a learner's mindset, do not have a humble learner's mindset, right? And so those people do really well at controlling the environment that they have, right? And that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people get really good at living in their box, right? Their box. And their box can be very comfortable, and it can even be very it can be a good life, right? If that's what they want, of course,
Yeah.
right? But I've seen people in my life, I've known people who live a comfortable life, but it's inside of a box, and they're afraid, they don't want to take in any new information. They want it their way, and it's difficult. And the older we get, I think the harder sometimes that can be, to really open up to new ideas, to
Hmm.
be, humble, to be willing to be new at something again, to be willing to say, maybe I don't have it all figured out. Maybe life could be a lot better. Maybe I don't have to be so angry and frustrated. Maybe I can do something about it. Maybe I can do something about it,
Right.
right? Maybe I have the power to change this. It's moving from being that victim to being a victor. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
the world is, life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. All of these things, whether, I love how you told your story. You were not really on social media a lot, but then suddenly you were on TikTok and you saw something, and instead of being like so negative and automatically judging it, you came back to it. You were open, you were humble, you had that learner's mindset. And now you're off to a journey that's going to take you sooner or later where you want to go. And I know that for you because of the way that you're sticking with it. Everybody's timeline is different. My timeline was not as fast as some of these people in our community. I did not have success and make as much money at the beginning of my affiliate marketing career as some of the people in this community. It's just everybody's journey's different. I've seen people have a lot of success at the beginning, and then they either get a little greedy, or they, what, you know what I mean? They stop doing what they're doing now and think, oh, I'm going to go off and, kind of do something different or create this big company. Or I've had affiliates in this community try to, say, oh, I'm going to go build a company like Legendary, and just all these kind of things, right? And then there's some people who keep doing what they're doing and they keep it. My point is that no matter what stage you're at of this, whether you're just getting started or whether you've had a lot of success and you're figuring out how to keep it, it requires a humble learner's mindset. In the moment that we think we start judging things, we think that we can't learn anything anymore, we start looking at people and saying, we either have jealousy or we look at them as if, they know something that we don't know, or there's a secret that's being kept. We automatically are just giving up all of our power. And so, I love that you're a lifetime learner, and I invite everybody on here who's feeling a little bit, frustrated with being new, and even playing with tools like TikTok. And as you said, seeing grown men do pointing and things like that. It's like, that's a judgment,
Right.
and if you stick with it and keep learning, you'll realize there's so much meat and potatoes behind somebody just doing one video that maybe you feel like is silly in your eyes or something like that. You may not know that guy's making $25,000 a month promoting various different products.
Mhm.
And you would love to have his life if you really knew all of the details. See, most of the time when we're looking at something on the internet, we don't really know most of the details. We're just judging it, right?
Sure.
And most of the time we're judging it to try to keep ourselves safe, mostly our own egos, right? It's like, oh, that's stupid. He's probably a scammer. That makes me able to protect my comfortable little life that I may not like, but I'm not really willing to do anything about it yet. Right. So, man, how are you cultivating humility, brother? How are you continuing to stay humble? Is it that your why is pulling you? Is that you have a big enough why and you're focused on that? Or have you already cultivated humility in other areas of your life and now you're just applying it to this?
Yeah, I think it's a little of both, right? I think just my journey to just my own personal journey in getting where I am, and just the experiences that I've had, and then yeah, my big ultimate why is my family. So every time I wake up and every time I get to spend more time with my daughter, when she wants to do a bike ride, and you know what, yeah, I can do that because, well, this business affords me to have more options and a little bit more freedom, right? Which allows me to do that. Um, that is my why. That's my fuel to kind of continue doing it. And again,
Yeah.
for me, it's not a sprint. I want to be able to do this and pass this along. And it's funny actually. My wife and my daughter seeing me doing these videos, and and they see me being silly at times, um and I tell them it's okay. You have to kind of give yourself that okay to be silly. You have to enjoy what you do, right?
Yeah.
And I actually started liking making videos and acting silly and doing kind of silly things, and um you kind of just have to let it be, right? So they see me doing these things. Now my
Yeah.
daughter's like, all right, I kind of want to do that. Can I be in one of your videos? I'm like, yeah. So I'm trying to incorporate her being part of the videos, and
Totally.
she's like, oh, can you record me while I'm doing my bike riding? Absolutely. So she loves cooking.
Oh,
So now
that is so sweet, dude.
yeah, my daughter and my wife now, every time they cook, they just film themselves, And they're like, oh, yeah, I want a YouTube
Aw.
channel. And so I just all this, and why I'm saying this, it my daughter is 7 years old, or going to be 7 years old. It's just it's another reality that they weren't, or she wouldn't be exposed to if I didn't fall into this affiliate marketing, right? This new world that I've discovered. For her, she has now more
Yeah.
options than the traditional school college route. She can still do that if she wants to,
Yeah.
but now she has an option to not do that if she doesn't want to, right? Who knows? She's
Yeah.
7. By the time she's 10, she may be a YouTube sensation. I don't know, right? But it gives her
I
that
love
option.
that.
And I think for
Yeah.
me, I love seeing that. I know that, that's my why. And every time I wake up, it's how can I have more time with my family? How can I have
Yeah.
more dedicated time and create experiences with my family?
Yeah.
And yeah, I have a 9 to 5 job. I still have that, and I want to grow my business eventually to be 100% in affiliate marketing, right? Um,
Yeah.
the challenge is I absolutely love what I do. So probably it's going to take a little bit more for me to go 100% there, but
Yeah.
the time freedom. It's the time freedom that allows me with my family to take vacations and not have to worry about it, right? So
Yeah.
that's where my drive comes in, and that's where putting an extra hour a day or 2 hours a day, creating content, acting silly and on camera, right? All these different things. I'm okay with it. I'm all right with it.
What do you have to lose, man? What do you
Exactly.
have to lose?
Absolutely. And that's the
You
thing,
know?
right? If I don't do anything today, I'll be exactly the same place I am tomorrow. Right.
Yeah. You know, um, your why is important, and your why is so amazing, and it's really cute and inspirational because you've got your daughter and your family, and that's very sweet. And it's like, um, you know, it's just such a beautiful thing how your kids watch you. For those of you who have kids and want to be great parents, just the best thing, honestly, us parents could ever do is just tape our mouths shut, because what we say
Oh,
goes in one ear and out the other. And we all know that because we did the same thing with our parents.
absolutely.
But what we do is what they're watching every single day. And I've been, pacing around in my house on conference calls and on webinars and going live and hooting and hollering and, in front of my kids their entire lives, because, I have a 22-year-old. He's been watching me since he was about 10. But, I've also got two smaller children, and they've never known anything else.
Hmm.
They've never known anything else except daddy working basically on his phone. So now when they see me on my phone, that's what I'm working. And I'm not on my phone all the time with my kids. I try not to be, but if I am, I'm working in their
Right.
eyes, because that's all they've ever known.
That's the
And it
reality.
doesn't matter that doesn't matter whether we're at home or whether we're at Disney or whether we're in another state. If daddy's on the phone or daddy's on a call and I'm doing an interview, my daughter's been here several times. We've been on vacation. I do this Wake Up Legendary. They've seen it. She knows I do a show every morning. And she's gone through that phase of kind of wanted to record and do some videos. She did want to do that a year ago. And then she just didn't one day, and I didn't care. You know what I mean? We never even posted anything on the internet. You know what I mean? We just filmed a couple of plane videos because
Yeah.
she was really into watching these family play
Mhm.
videos on YouTube for until we took YouTube away from her. Watch out with the kids in YouTube. It's a
Oh yeah.
dangerous place to be because of how it just goes on to the next one, and there's another thumbnail for them to hit while they're sitting there watching it, and it's too hard not to hit that. So it's like this dopamine. I feel like YouTube's the worst. This is just a total side note, total me ranting, total parental comment, but YouTube is one of the worst social media platforms to let a young child roam free on. And it's not because of particularly the content, but it's because of the inability to relax and just watch a show, because you got all the thumbnails all around and a little kid cannot, so they never actually watch an entire show. Plus, the majority of the content is kids' content on YouTube. Anyways, I won't make a comment about that. It is what it is. But you know, our families get inspired and influenced by what they see us do, and you doing that while also working a job. What a beautiful gift to your daughter, because not only is she seeing you work a job and provide, and she's always known you to do that, but now you're doing something that's essentially bridging the gap between your generation and her generation, and helping her to develop skills that she's 1000% going to need to have by the time she is an adult. If you all don't think that being on video and streaming to people in different parts of the state, city, state, country, or world is not going to be mandatory, my friends, like it or not, that is the direction that we're moving in. So you're also giving her an edge and exposing her to that technology and to those skills in a safe way, because you're supervising it, or you're not even pushing her. She's just watching you, and she'll learn and get familiarized with it by simply just hear it. I just feel like it's the greatest gift that we give our children, is to try new things and fail in front of them and build things in front of them, just like you're doing, Jay.
Right. Yeah. And I just want to provide more options for her. Right. Just, I don't want it to be linear for her, kind of, for similar to what most of us went through. Right. Just kind of the track is almost kind of painted for you. And, so I want to give her more options, and she's gravitated toward it. I mean, I guess technology age, right? So every opportunity, and sometimes she reminds me, she tells me, Dad, I think this setting is a great content video, like setting or something. I'm like, whoa, she's the one that's telling me about it.
Come on, Jay, what a soup.
I'll tell you, it's either I created something great or I've created a monster or something like that. But I'm gonna have fun with it, and she absolutely adores it.
It's like talking about sex with your kids. Ooh, oh my God! Wait, hold on. Most people grew up in homes where sex was never mentioned.
Right.
Let's just get honest. This is not. We are teaching business strategies here at Legendary, so we need to talk about and use analogies about things that people wouldn't talk about in traditional settings, because being an entrepreneur, you can't use traditional strategies and concepts for life to win. You have to, in some ways, make yourself superhuman without actually being superhuman. Hearing Ed Milet, who's a podcaster and a business brain. He was talking about momentum helps regular people appear to be superhuman. And that's exactly what happens here in this business, is when you stay consistent and you start to build momentum, it makes other marketers appear superhuman. It makes you appear superhuman. It makes me appear superhuman. When I'm just a totally Legendary is a huge company and all this. No, I'm not superhuman. We just have momentum. We just have momentum right now. And so everybody has to develop that momentum. But I love that your daughter was, pointing something out to you, about the setting, because, it's like, it's really nowadays, if you think about it, I mean, creating content is essentially the number one most valuable asset on the internet, is a good quality piece of content. So the fact that she's even thinking about that at her age, in the setting or the background or whatever, is incredible, and that
Blows my mind.
helps you to keep momentum. And I think that for us, it's like, so talk to us about how you went to your family and approached like your wife, because you have done things in the past that you either didn't like or you decided not to pursue for whatever reason. I don't like to say I failed at, even label it as I struggled. The truth is that any of you who have tried something in the past and it wasn't successful, it's because you didn't give it your all or you decided to give up, right?
That's it.
It's not that you can't be.
Absolutely.
Stop shitting on yourself. Stop shitting on yourself. There's things that every single one of us are are successful with. And you know what every single one of us is successful with? Whatever the hell we follow through with.
That's exactly it.
Not,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I could be the best. I could be the best baseball player in the world, but if I don't go out there and play and follow through with my baseball career, I'm not going to have a baseball career. Anyways, I did make mention of the sex talk, right? And so most families, most of us grew up in a family where like we didn't talk about sex. So then you grow up and you have to learn about it from somebody else, right?
Right.
So I'm trying to change that in a way. And with the same, of course, you know, just communicating with my kids and trying to help them to learn about these things from me instead of from other people that may not have their best intentions in mind. But Jay, I think the same thing goes with technology, dude, in like online marketing, in content creation, in the internet. It's so much healthier to talk to your kids about that and expose them in an age appropriate way, in a way to which you can guarantee their safety and you can explain the positive parts of the internet and the negative dangerous parts of the internet as they get older, and put appropriate restrictions on there. It is such a powerful thing if you do have children to, this is just a concept that I believe, expose them and talk to them about these things before the world does. So Jay, how did you, when you started this, approach your wife and your family, and what did that look? How did you get them on board? Was it a very simple process, or
Well,
did you have
but it was I kind of did it in steps. I don't know. It's how my mind works. I'm just very strategic that way. So I kind of knew already I wanted to do this, right? I wanted to do this, and during the 15-day challenge, I probably by the day 2 or day 3 video, I'm like, I'm going all in. I'm going all in on this. So even before my call on the 4th day, I'm like, all right, I know it's going to cost, whatever the blueprint is. I'm going for it. Um, so I started inching already with my wife. I said, I think I found something, that a business that I want to do. And she, of course, gave me that whatever that look, right? Like she gave me that look and just didn't pay me no mind. Um, and then I
men
kind
have
of
been married to women for centuries, and we still can't really articulate
no, we
the
can't.
looks and things. We
But it's
still
the
can't
looks,
really.
right? You kind of know the look. So I kind of left it at that. I said, you know what? All right, that's it for one day. That's it for today. I'm not going to talk about it. So the
Smart
next
man.
day, yeah, the next day, I said, all right, remember that thing I talked to you about? And I showed her a couple of kind of uh, influencers, right? Like just somebody talking about, or I think it was on YouTube, where the product reviews, and then in the product reviews, in their description, they have links to the products. And I said, look at this. It's a simple video, right? They're talking about this. And of course, I know that she loves cooking. She loves anything that has to do with kitchen. And it was this chef, this Spanish chef on YouTube, and then all these links that had to do with the spices, the utensils that they use, all these different things, and it's listed out in links. So she loved the video about the cooking, and she started clicking on those links. And then so I asked her about, every time somebody clicks and purchases it, guess what? This person that person that you just looked at probably gets a commission from it. She's like, that's actually pretty cool. I said, well, that's what I want to get into. I said, I found something. I found it. Boom! I dropped the mic. That's lit up. Her eyes lit up. That's it. That was it. Took 2 days.
That's what I want to get into. What a line, dude.
Yeah. that's what I want to get into. But the thing is, I dangled the possibility for her to also do it, right? Because she loves doing it. Well, she is. She's her and my daughter is gonna start doing kind of the baking and kind of food thing and promoting products on the kitchen side. So, but that was it. And I said, I found education and training that's going to teach us how to build this business. And she's like, go ahead, do it. That's it. I mean,
Jay, you are a corporate trainer, bro. You are. Wow. I just learned. I don't know. That was a major nugget. I mean, that's the best presentation I've ever heard, just hands down. I mean, I am not worthy of hearing such a strategy this morning. We need to have you come and teach that strategy at a mastermind, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll be more than happy, Dave.
I mean, that was just, that was just good. So, there's God, man, this has been fun, Jay. This has been fun. What would you tell somebody who's, looking at this? There's some people in the comments and stuff. People are like, how much is the blueprint? Did you make when's your first commission? Did you make, did you buy the blueprints? Everybody wants to, ask everybody else what they did. And while that is important, and it's why our community is here for you guys to ask each other any questions that you want. And I'm just a member of the community at this point. I'm not a tyrant around here. I don't determine what questions people can ask, and there's no question that can't be asked. And so, what would you say to some of these people who, have not invested in themselves in a long time, or maybe ever, like, how do you communicate that to people when they ask you out on the internet, out in your business, on your email list, or in your DMs or wherever? How do you kind of look at, and what would you say to somebody who's questioning, investing in themselves, whether it's here or somewhere else? I mean, there's no doubt that I'm biased to our education here. Mm-hmm. Look around at the success in our community. I'm not biased just because I think it's great. I'm biased because I think it gets results. But what do you tell people who are struggling with the idea of dropping a few thousand or dropping a few weeks of time to invest in themselves, to give themselves an honest shot at learning this business model and these strategies and actually having success with them?
Yeah, I think, and I understand each person is different in a different area in their lives, right? So for me, it was an easy investment for me because I know my why. Why am I doing this? And it comes back to that. I would gladly pay 5 times more, 10 times more, right? If it's going to get me to my why. So I get it. It's, and sometimes a couple of $100 is a huge investment, right? But it's the return that you're going to get. So it's all right. I dropped this investment now, but what am I getting in return? What's my return on my investment? And kind of going back to when you talked about businesses and failed businesses, the only time I'm going to fail in this is if I decide to quit, right? If I continue and doing exactly what I need to do, and the blueprints tells you that step by step what you need to do, and that's kind of how I'm here, right? It's I just continually do that. Step by step, show up every day, do what you need to do every day. build your business. And I know, from the other side, you're not seeing that yet, right? You're just seeing the actual dollar amount. But sometimes you just,
Right. You don't know what you don't
Mhm.
know, right?
Exactly. You don't know what you don't know. Um, and if a few hundred or a few thousand is going to stop you from really achieving what you want to achieve, whatever that goal is, or whatever that why is, what you're trying to do, whether that's a better life, a better future, time freedom, or whatever it is, right? Whether it's this program or another program, you have to invest in you. You have to invest in yourself,
Yeah.
and trust that you're going to do
And
the
that
job. Trust that you're gonna make it successful. And
and if you don't trust yourself right now, I think that's a big word. Trust that you're going to do the job, but you have to earn your own trust.
True,
And the
absolutely.
way that you do that is by proving to yourself that you actually can follow through with something. There is a place where investing in yourself becomes toxic. And I want to talk about that as well. And that's the people who invest and then jump to the next thing and get all excited and invest in themselves and buy something and then jump to the next thing and invest and buy something. And now I'm back on Facebook. I'm registering for another webinar. And oh my gosh, I'm buying another course. That's when it can become toxic,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
you also have to realize that anything and everything can become toxic. Same way with alcohol, right? It's like it's wonderful when you go out and have a glass of wine for dinner, but it becomes toxic when then you want to drink a glass of wine at noon the next day,
mhm,
every day. Anything can become toxic. It's fine to have a piece of cake after a nice meal out. But when you want a giant piece of cake every single night at 10:30 p.m., it becomes toxic. Right?
yeah,
Everything can become toxic the same way that investing in yourself can become toxic. The way that you avoid that is exactly what Jay just said. Trust. Trust yourself. And if you don't trust yourself right now, and how you know if you trust yourself is if you're unsure if the blueprints are going to make you successful. You don't trust yourself because nothing's going to make you successful. You can learn affiliate marketing somewhere else. I don't know where else. I don't have anywhere else to send you, but I know other people out there are talking about affiliate marketing and teaching affiliate marketing. So it's not like I'm saying that this is the only place to do it. But whether you do it here or whether you do it somewhere else, the most important part is not spending the money. You can get more money. The most important part is developing trust in yourself that when you buy something, when you invest in yourself, that you then follow through with it. And you will then develop trust that I can do this, right? Your first video, you put it up, you don't trust yourself, right? You're throwing it up. You have no idea what's going to happen. You come back into the Facebook group, you're like, I posted 4 videos on TikTok and none of them have gone viral and people are making bad comments and I'm ready to quit.
right.
No trust in the process, but also no trust in yourself. That's normal. You have to earn that. And so after about 15 or 20 videos, maybe even 30 or 40, there's been people on this show that have posted hundreds of videos. After you do it, just like anything in life, you will go into it becoming second nature. You won't even think about it anymore. You won't be so worried about how many views each video got. You'll know that you're going to create a piece of content and post it, and it's the best thing you can do in that moment. And some pieces of content will yield more results than others. And you'll trust the process. You'll begin to see patterns in the data. Okay, I got 100 opt-ins to my email list this month. Okay, the month before that, I got 75. The month before that, I got 150. Let me go back and look, right? You start to trust the data. The data never lies. You learn what you can trust. Then you even find yourself suddenly stop calling things scams because you understand. You also trust yourself that you're not going to get sucked in because you know what's real and you know what's not. But you have to develop that trust, my friends, in yourself, just like Jay's talking about, because it doesn't matter what business you start in. Being a successful entrepreneur actually requires that you develop a trust within yourself, not a trust in me. I don't want to be your coach or your guru. I'm just a regular guy. Don't trust in my content. Don't trust in my this legendary blah, blah, blah. Trust in you. That's what we're trying to develop here. Not making me or legendary or anybody else or some other guru, because now what we're trying to do, and this is how we get into those toxic cycles in this industry. Oh, I need a new guru. This is finally the guru that I can hire. And it's always disappointment because people are always going to let you down. It's just life. But when you trust you and you know if you buy a course, hey, I need to follow through with this. I know that. My success depends on what I do with this information. Every single answer that somebody could want or need is in that information or could be asked on a live training session that we have 5 days a week for Blueprint students. But you got to be the one to ask the question. It's not, and I think that's a difficult transition to go from employee to entrepreneur. Most times in an employee setting, Jay, that information is brought to us, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's told to us. And as an entrepreneur, one of the most important things is to just be okay raising your hand and asking and being curious. Is that something that has been a transition from employee to entrepreneur for you? Let's bring it in for a landing with this final question and then some final thoughts. What has been your biggest challenge, or what is your biggest challenge between being an employee and an entrepreneur? What are you currently working on? Is it mindset around that? Anything specific that sticks out to you?
Yeah, I mean, it is that. It is a mindset shift, so to speak, right? Going from that 9 to 5 world to owning your own business and really thinking about every single piece of information or data or everything throughout your business. And you're right, and so I'm still kind of going through that shift, right? There are times when, all right, I have a question. How do I ask it? How do I frame it? And the great thing about Legendary is our community is just absolutely tremendous, right? They are super helpful. Posting a question out there, and so I'm still kind of going through that, and I go through my channels. I have certain individuals that I kind of DM and ask questions that I found super helpful and
like a little support group, like a little tribe of people.
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and I think it's good to have those resources, right? And kind of have that network. But information is out there. There's tons of information out there. You just have to make sure that you're peeling through that tons of information and finding the right one that works for you. Again, for me, it is kind of still building that business mindset that I own my own business. What I do or the actions or lack of actions that I do impact my tomorrow. So, I'm kind of switching gears and learning that as we go.
Yeah. And I want to share, you brought up a great question. How do you ask a question? And it's such an important thing because so many of us, we don't quite really know how to be students, right? Like, think about that for a second, everybody. You're all grown adults and it's like, how do I really ask a great question as a student? I don't know. I've not been in school for a long time. And quite frankly, I don't like to ask other people their opinions. I don't like people that much. hey, whatever your situation is, if you're going to be successful here and you're going to learn to trust yourself and you're going to learn to be successful, you're going to have to learn how to ask questions like Jay just said. And this is actually something that we give in Talk to Blueprint students quite a bit about on Decade in a Day and so forth. I talk about this a little bit, and this is inside of our resource folder from that particular workshop. But I want to share it with everybody today because we're bringing this episode in for a landing. And Jay, you've been so gracious with your time. Thank you. But it's asking better questions and getting better answers. 4 simple steps transforms you from struggling to resourceful, clear, and successful. Okay. Before you can take a screenshot of this if you want, write it down, whatever, take a picture of it with your phone, something like that. Okay. It's up on your screen right now. But before you ask your question, spend a moment and get clear on what your question is. Write it out, read it, ask yourself, does it make sense? Simplify and clarify your question if you can. Write your question out. Now, edit it until it's clear about what you're asking. I mean, you need to edit that now and edit until it's clear what you're asking. Okay, so first and foremost, make sure your question is clear. Write it out. Does it make sense to you? I'll also include a link to this document here in just a second. Maybe Joanne, if you're listening, you can get. Let me drop this. I'm going to drop this because I just took a screenshot of this particular one. I'm going to drop this inside of Slack, and we can maybe post a link for everybody in a Google, just a quick Google Drive link so they can download that. I've just put it in Slack. Second, if you find you have multiple questions, settle on one question at a time. A lot of us ask multiple questions at one time. I'm telling you, you won't get your needs met. And that's what you're trying to do. And what you're frustrated about most of the time is you have a need and you don't know how to ask for it. I want you to think about yourself as like, a toddler who's learning how to talk. And you're learning how to talk as an entrepreneur. You're learning how to talk as a boss. You're learning how to talk as somebody who's in charge. You're learning how to talk as somebody who's also learning something, and it's important that you learn it. Okay? So if you have multiple questions, settle on one. Very important, including your question. What you've tried already and what you think the solution might be. This is so important. Why? Because the difference between an employee and an entrepreneur is an employee is going to ask before they've tried anything because that's what they're supposed to do in most cases. In most cases, okay, not all cases, but in most cases, that's sort of the protocol is we're going to give you a standard operating procedure or whatever, or you're just going to do what you're told. And then use phrases like, I'd love feedback on this, or I'd like another perspective on this, or do you have experience with this, or know someone who does. It makes you look smart and rational to acknowledge that there's multiple ways to skin a cat. You should be ready for different answers and viewpoints from different people based on their personal experience. In most cases, there is no definitive answer. Take responsibility for the outcome of how it turns out. You're still the one executing the task, and how it turns out is 100% your responsibility. Damn it, own it. Your success will skyrocket as a result. Jay, anything to add to that, my brother? You've been so gracious with your time. I want to get you out of here.
No, I thank you. I mean, this is great. I think the only thing that I'd kind of just leave folks with is just adjust your expectations, right? And you mentioned people start quitting after 3 months or some. Adjust your expectations. Sometimes you're brought in because of some claims or the hooks of making X amount in 90 days or 30 days or whatever. Remember, you're building a business. That each journey is different. Adjust them. It's stay for the long term and do your thing. You'll find success.
I love that. Such practical advice. Jay, I'll talk to you soon, brother. It was so great to see you again, man. Thank you for all your time today, brother.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Thank you, Dave. Take care.
All right, Jay. Stay legendary, brother. All right, my friends. There it is. You can follow Jay on TikTok and Instagram at Hustle with J73. Just no spaces, no underscores. Hustle with J, and J is Jay for those of you listening on TikTok and Instagram. Hustle with J73. All right, my friends. Lot today. Lot today. Today was a masterclass, for Christmas sakes. Had a wonderful, like somebody who's been in our community, in our education for a little while, and can really talk it like it's second nature. And it's pretty ingrained in Jay's kind of DNA now. And that's really cool to see. Like he is definitely on his way to success. And his journey right now is it's a realistic journey. There's going to be some ups, there's going to be some downs, there's going to be some U-turns, some slowdowns, but it's all in the journey, not the destination, right? And it's about being able to sustain whatever success you develop and not have it shoot up and then shoot down. There's all kinds of pitfalls, right? Be focused just on your journey and focus on what the journey is like for you, and not comparing it to other people, as Jay also said, out there on TikTok and so forth, because you also don't know that person's whole story. Remember that as well. You're only, in the most case, watching watching a 15 or a 30-second video or something like that. So stay in reality. Keep your focus where your hands are at, in the now, in what they're doing right now, right? My focus should be on my hands and what they're doing, not what somebody else is doing. And if I'm not doing anything with my hands right now, then there's no way I'm going to achieve what anybody else has anyways, right? So stay in the moment, focus on what your hands are doing. And also, when you get success, sustain it, right? Build success that you can sustain. Most of you, if you blew up today and had, millions and millions of views on videos and had thousands and thousands of people opting into your subscriber list, and you wouldn't really know what to do with it if you're brand new anyways. So allow yourself the time that when that success does come to you, you know how to keep it. You know how you got it. Like, you're clear about how it happened, and you know how to keep it and sustain it. That's the real secret. All right, my friends. See you tomorrow for another episode. Get out of here. Have a fantastic Thursday.